I'm Marco Werman, and this is The World. Last year, the prospects for a comprehensive U.S. immigration law were looking pretty good. Republicans and Democrats were actually talking to each other, but it didn't last. Shari Robertson was in Washington, D.C. last year, covering the immigration roller coaster ride for our partners at PBS FRONTLINE and Independent Lens. And one of the best places to watch, she says, was over the shoulder of Congressman Luis Gutierrez, a Democrat from Chicago.
Well, he was a perfect person to see it with and through because he was the one Democrat right in the middle of all the Republican machinations. He's a guy who makes no secret of being perhaps more loyal to his community than he is to his party, and that gave him a lot of credibility with the Republicans who wanted to get something done.
So we really see the sausage-making of politics, the deal-making, the dinners between ostensible enemies and the power breakfasts. As a filmmaker, why did you think it was important to see the immigration issue from this point of view?
Well, everything that happens in Washington happens because of relationships. And it's the behind-the-scenes activity that lets people create those relationships.
Do you think that the whole process, the process that you show, are you showing it because that's where business is done? But is it also how things are getting held up?
The Republicans control the majority in the House, and they do that with a membership that is about 75% from districts that are not particularly swayed by Latino and immigrant voters. 75% white districts, you could say. So most of the members from those districts, their biggest fear vis-a-vis immigration is that they'll get a primary challenge from somebody further to the right of them, a sort of anti-amnesty, anti-immigration candidate. So they have to be very, very careful in terms of what they support. And it's that constant dance between the next primary, and they come up every 2 years, and what they're able to do in the interim that tells you how much room there is to maneuver.
I mean, more immediately, presidential elections in 2016, there's one congressman in your doc who's talking about Texas and the fact that there are going to be 3 million new Latino voters there next year.
You know, around the country, something like 50,000 kids turn 18 who are from immigrant families every couple of weeks. The number of new immigrant and Latino voters who could register and make a difference in this election is substantial. I mean, they could really make a difference. But the question is always, who's going to take the trouble to do that?
So after being so deep in this process, Shari, do you see a way forward here? Because right now, President Obama's executive action on immigration, it's stuck in the courts, no bill in sight. It kind of seems like a total breakdown.
Well, any executive action is a limited thing. It's very unfortunate that we're in this static situation, but even if it had gone ahead, it's not the same as a legislative solution. It always seemed to us that it would have to be a win for both parties. If it's going to just be a Republican bill or a Democratic bill, there will probably be enough reasons to thwart it and ways to thwart it that it won't actually happen. Right now, something like 74% of the American public supports a path to a legal status for the millions of undocumented people. It's just that Congress can't seem to do anything about it.
Shari Robertson, one of the filmmakers of Immigration Battle, airing tomorrow night on Frontline on PBS stations across the country. Thank you very much, Shari.
Thank you, Marco. It was a pleasure.
Finally today, one and done.